Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today we are talking about The Promised Neverland Season 2, Episode 2, and maybe you can kind of see, I believe it is Mujika. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's M-U-J-K-A or Mujika. We learn a little bit about her. We learn a little bit about Sonja, which are these two demons that have rescued everybody. And yes, I said rescued, meaning they are not going to eat them. They are actually going to help them. And basically, they are kind of like the crackpots of their world to a certain extent. And they are, for religious reasons, do not eat people. They eat everything else besides people. Kind of like how people don't eat kind of semi-sentient things, like monkeys, for example. But we kind of will eat, birds, chicken, cows, etc. Depending on your religion, you may eat different things. But for their religious reasons, they do not eat people. We don't know why, but good for them. They help them out. And basically, they were just curious as to what would happen when they interacted with these people, tried to save these people, and how that would work out. We learned from Sonja that basically how the world works, at least for the last 1,000 years, is the world is divided in two. I don't know if there's some sort of barrier, some sort of wall between the two worlds, but there's the human half and the demon half. And for thousands of years, demons would eat humans, no problem. But then the humans got stronger, more powerful, started to evolve, and then they killed the demons out of spite. And eventually it was just everybody killing everybody, and nothing was really working out well. So they decided to divide the world in two, where you have the demon half and you have the human half. However, as a example of good faith, they allowed the demons to keep some humans, and the demons were no longer allowed to hunt humans, but they could breed them and raise them as cattle, as humans do for cows and chickens and other animals, etc. And basically, that's all humans are to demons, is food. I mean, you understand that it's terrible from the human aspect because sentient being is getting killed and eaten, but the demons, to them, they're just another cow. You got to kind of look at it that way. Is they're just another piece of cattle, piece of meat that they can use to eat them. Looking at my thumbnail, you got to see the flowers again. If you don't remember the flowers from the first episode, I don't remember her name, but the little girl that was sticking out of her in the bouquet bloomed as well. And what that flower actually does is it sucks the blood out of everything, and the demon religion has it that if it blooms, you are allowed to eat that piece of meat, which it's a flower, it's a plant. If it absorbs something, it's going to bloom anyway. So yeah, it's kind of creepy because it sucks all the blood out of the creature. It doesn't have to be just a human. In this case, it was a bird, because Sonja takes Emma to hunt. Emma wants to learn what it means to hunt, what it means to kill a living thing, and what she's entailed for in the future, because they have to eat something. They're not going to be able to survive on just berries. Humans need protein, and unfortunately, in most cases, that means killing animals because certain aspects of proteins aren't always available. Nuts, for example, are not always available to people, so that's you got to do what you got to do. For those of you who have never hunted an animal or killed an animal or anything along those lines, it is an interesting experience to say the least, because you're hunting for or killing the animal for one of several reasons. Obviously, the main one's going to be food. Sometimes it's the fur. You want the fur off of them. You don't necessarily eat the meat, or it's because they are going after your food. For example, I have shot a few woodchucks in my day because they go after the garden. They eat my food, and you can't have them eating all of my food, or you're not going to be able to survive. So it's you have to respect the animal. It's definitely not something to take lightheartedly. You respect the animal. You don't want that animal to suffer. You want to hit it in one shot and basically put it out of its misery instantaneously, which is what the Sonja was saying to Emma. Basically, he was like, look, you shot it. It's unconscious. It's not feeling any pain right now. quickly do this before it, wakes up in consciousness and starts getting pain. And it actually made Amelia cry. She threw up when she saw the flower bloom because she recognized what it was. But she, prayed, etc., respect for the animal, that because now the animal is providing her food. So it's definitely, if you are a hunter or have ever hunted something, it is, as I said, it's an interesting experience. I am definitely not for trophy hunters, not a fan of them. It's a respect between you and that animal at the time, and at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. Either you need to get food or they are eating your food. It's one of the other. That's typically the scenarios I have personally been in. So it's not something I like to do. Let's put it that way. It's definitely not something I like to do every day, but it happens once in a while. You try to trap them and you release them, but then they just come back, and it's a mess. I know some of you may disagree with me, but that is what it is. And I'm trying to bring kind of the real aspect of it to the anime because they portrayed that very, very well. The demon Sonja, or Sonja, I'm going to say it's Sonja because it's like Sonja. He had immense respect for the animals that he killed. And you could definitely see it, with the whole praying thing. Thank you for the food. Thank you for allowing me to eat you. Your life means I get to sustain mine. It's an interesting, kind of, I guess it's interesting paradox is the best way to describe it. Kind of getting away from that and moving back into the main parts of it. Everybody's safe. Nobody's dead. Thank God. Thank God nobody died. Don't get your hopes up though, because the way this is going, someone's going to die eventually. The world is literally filled with demons, and someone is going to catch up with them sooner or later. They are temporarily safe because they are in a tunnel system that the two demons designed and created to basically help people escape, get away from people. Other demons don't know about them, but there are certain parts where they have to go back up. The demons don't really know about the forest all of that well. They may have it charted or something, but they don't really ever go into it unless a human escapes, which isn't very often. It happens very, very rarely that a human escapes basically one of these ranches. And there are multiple. We also learned that there are many, many ranches around the world. We don't know how many there are, but they have a goal now. Basically, their goal is to break into all these ranches, free as many humans as they can, and find a way to get to the human side. That is their end goal. It actually made Ray and Emma very happy because they now have an end game. They now realize that they can get out of the situation that they're in, hopefully. Although the demon doesn't seem to be so optimistic, because apparently in the last 1,000 years, no one has ever crossed that barrier or that wall, whatever it may be. But William Minvira, we need to find him and figure out what's going on with him, because obviously he has some sort of crazy technology, so he is an aspect of it as well. At some point we are going to probably meet up with him, find him, and figure out how he was able to sneak in all of these books. Maybe it was 1,000 years ago and he's been long dead. We don't really know, but we'll just have to wait and see how that whole situation plays out. It's kind of interesting though, because there's definitely a lot of different creatures. If it's still Earth, because they are technically still on Earth, and why are all of these different creatures on one side and the other, unless the demons brought them over here? But at the same time, it's like an alternate world, so I'm not going to look into it too much at that time. It's also funny because all the kids were like, hey, if you're feeling bad, don't tell us, don't go to the point where you're going to faint. You need to tell us that you're worn out, that you're tired, because we can help you out in the process. They did the same thing to Ray. Don't go killing yourself for the sake of us. We want to protect you too. You're a great asset to us. And Emma and Ray are probably their two greatest assets at this point in time. They are definitely the two of the smartest people in the team. So if they die, all the other kids, there's a good chance they may die as well, and it'll just turn into a giant cesspool of who knows what. But all the kids, they'd learned how to create fire, They learned about different plants, what are edible, what's poisonous, things along those lines. Basically, they learned about living in the forest, living in nature, what is food, what is not. They learned how to shoot a bow and arrow to obviously hunt animals. They can also use those to defend themselves. And I think that's what Emma was ultimately getting at, is if a demon, she wants to know how to kill a living thing, because if a demon comes at her again, she wants to be able to defend her family, because all these people are her family. And I'm sure she's probably going to teach all of the kids as well when they get to a certain age. I mean, these kids are young, you're talking like 11, 12 years old. I think maybe 13 max is the oldest of them. And, it's that is like right around the age when people typically learn to hunt and learn some of these skills. If you're in that kind of style family, living in nature, semi off the grid, or you go hunting, except whatever, for meat, all that fun stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. All the kids are learning basic skills to survive in nature, survive in the wild, so they don't get eaten. But the ultimate thing is they're going to need some sort of bigger weapons for defense when the demons come around, because I don't know how much a wooden arrow is going to hurt a demon, because it looks like they almost have like built-in armor plating to a certain extent. Sonja's weapon, we learn apparently if humans touch it, they almost die instantly, which is really weird. That means that they have weapons where they don't even have to like hurt these people. They just have to touch them, and it's like instant death, which is kind of terrifying. So who knows? We did, however, kind of learn that humans have escaped before. We don't know how old these particular two demons are, and we don't even know if they're called demons. They just kind of accept the fact that the kids call them that. Maybe they have a different name for the race, but we don't really know. I think it's just going to be demons throughout the entire thing. But they have escaped before, so that means there is a possibility that they're going to meet up with humans that are already outside the world, have better skills than them, and can train them what to do to defeat demons that try to attack them. Because I think this isn't going to be like an all-out war where they're going out of their way to kill demons. I think it's going to be more of a defense mechanism thing, where they're learning how to kill them and fight them, so that way if they ever come after them, they can stop them, obviously, and kill them before they kill them. It's kind of the two sides of the coin type situation here. It's more of a defense, but at the same time, you need to know how to do it. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems in the future, and then you're the one that's going to end up getting killed. Episode, I'm going to rate this guy probably a 7 out of 10. It was definitely more of a feel-good episode. There was definitely some more emotional aspects of it, but they weren't being chased by demons, most of it. They were being taught by demons, so good little switch up there. But I don't think these two characters are... They're going to basically get them out of the forest, and I think that's going to be it. They kind of wander from place to place, and I doubt they're going to stick around forever, but who knows? They'll probably be in the next couple episodes. They'll get out of the forest, and then we'll go into the next chapter. But it's been a wild ride so far. Speaking of wild rides, before I finally wrap this up, Jujutsu Kaisen did release this week, so you're either going to get that tomorrow or Sunday, and then Yashahime may get pushed out a day. We'll figure that out. I didn't think it was getting released this week. I thought it was getting released next week, but I was wrong. So now I'm probably going to film 2 of these today, and then I'll just schedule stuff to make my life a little bit easier. But thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you made it this far. Turn on the notification bell. Leave a like, comment down below what you'd like me to do for future anime and cartoon-related videos. And as always, have a good one.